Hello and welcome to an evening of bullshit. I'm Lizzie McGuire, and today I'm joined by Ned, Brandon, Cheech, and Chong. And today we're going to be discussing vaping, also known as the use of e-cigarettes, or more commonly among the youth, juuling. It works by heating up a liquid known as vape juice. It works by heating up vape juice to create an inhalable smoke that you can then smoke. It was created as a safer alternative to smoking, and also to help people smoke cigarettes. So today we're going to discuss that. Cheech, would you like to start off?
Yeah, I'll start off things by saying I do really heavily agree with it being a safer alternative. Like, cigarettes have a lot more toxins in them, and this boy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's a safer alternative overall. Like,
you better watch yourself, boy.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like better overall. Like, less toxins, less of a health risk. 480,000 people die a year from cigarettes in America. I mean, come on now. Juuls and vapes, we don't have a 480,000 death rate. That's ridiculous. That's some as high as diseases kill people.
What about lung cancer?
I mean, lung cancer is actually more prevalent in smoking cigarettes versus they have the chemical known as, or that.
How do you know?
I've actually done the research on this. Even on my bottle of vape juice that I have here, we don't have the chemical that's created. Even with it, it's actually 50 times more prevalent in a cigarette than vaping.
So what about the other chemicals? How do you know that they don't cause cancer?
Vegetable glycerin is used in most foods that we have currently and that we are allowed
What's
to eat.
to say that those foods also don't cause
I'd
cancer?
also just like to play devil's advocate here and say that the two common ingredients in vape juice are propylene glycol and glycerin, which when heated together does create a carcinogen. So Cheech, how would you like to respond to that?
Right. Overall, I said like juuling is a safer alternative because, I mean, we look at cigarettes and even a menthol cigarette, there's more toxins in. Like, overall, it's just way worse for your body than just that normal carcinogen. Like, it's just not, like cigarettes are just far worse for your health. It's completely obvious. Like, there's tons of scientific research on it. The facts state, like, look, 480,000 like die a year of cigarettes. None of
Ned,
juuling.
your response?
Well, how do you feel about your sperm count being lowered because of vaping and juuling?
I don't even think that's a relevant question. Or
Do you want your balls to not work, son?
Sir, I can tell you my balls do work.
the lower sperm count doesn't even affect how a cigarette works or how vaping works. It doesn't even correlate with how a cigarette even works and functions in it too.
Well, it actually is a proven fact that it lowers sperm count.
Did you know that drinking Mountain Dew lowers your sperm count? So doesn't everything?
I mean, I don't think
Mountain Dew should be
everything.
illegal. You heard it here first.
Boy, I figure you like Mountain Dew out there.
Are you making fun of me, boy?
I don't think he is.
Let's move along.
I mean, we are just discussing the general issue of vaping, so
Lindsay, what's your
Vaping?
take on vaping in itself?
I think that more research needs to be done. We know what it does in the short term, but we don't know what it does in the long term.
We don't know what it does, and we're putting it in our bodies, and it's poisoning our minds.
But I know, looking at a cigarette though too, if you think about how many people have tar in their lungs just from or taking a cigarette from the ages. A lot of people start at a very young age, such as the age of 16 sometimes.
Ned, your response?
I saw an 11-year-old.
Ned?
Then
Take it away, Ned.
Yeah, people may start smoking at the age of 16 cigarettes, but it's getting the same for vaping, and people don't think it's bad at all, but when reality, like, it really is
Right.
not good, obviously, and we don't know, like, exactly what's even in it yet. Same with cigarettes when they first came out.
I mean, cigarettes have been around for ages.
Yeah,
it just
but when
took a
they
while
first
for the
came
scientific
out,
research to be
yeah.
provided on them. But
And we
I mean,
haven't-
overall, we know for a fact that vaping is far less worse. I mean, it's just scientific research and the ingredients put into it. And like, we've already had vapes around for a while. That's like a
We've only
fact.
had
Like
vapes
everyone's.
around
What
for a
is
couple
this
of years.
scientific research you're talking about here,
What
boy?
what's scientific research on .gov sites like
.gov.
37.8 million adults smoke cigs. More than 16 million are affected with smoking diseases that'll forever affect their life. If it was your child, would you rather him be smoking cigarettes or juuling? I think juuling would be the safer alternative, even though none are good.
Leads to smoking cigarettes
That
and
is
doing
not a fact.
marijuana.
Have you ever been at a
Marijuana.
party and
Have I
somebody
ever
like
been at a
runs out of a jewel pod or anything, and they instantly go to bumming a cigarette?
Nah, you spark a doobie, bro.
I've seen people do that on a daily basis. Well, want to know something really funny about that? Recent studies actually show that vaping has actually broken up the tar within lungs the person that has been smoking a cigarette for. And with that going off, that's only after about 2 or 3 weeks of doing that. After about a month and a half, too, the people who've been smoking their cigarettes that switch to vaping actually get their sense of taste back, and they can start tasting foods again.
Right,
But
and
the
their heart
point
rate
is
also lowers.
that they shouldn't be like getting their hands on jewels at all to start out with.
Do you know that smoking cigarettes really increases your heart rate, increases the chance of a heart attack by like 58%? So you're telling me that you would rather be exposed to a cigarette and have
We
a way
ain't
worse.
saying
Hey, let him talk.
You're saying that you would
Round
rather
me
be
up, boy.
way more exposed to that than just a normal jewel. You want a heart attack? No, smoke a jewel. That's the motto right there.
we ain't saying that smoking cigarettes is good or better than juuling. We just saying that juuling is bad.
Well, I mean, regardless, once we're 18, we have the decision to do what we want.
So you want to get, well, kids aren't using it at 18. I saw an 11-year-old boy hitting a marijuana jewel the other day.
A marijuana jewel. If we have age restrictions, and they're pretty strict in the state of Wisconsin, even
They
stricter
start
in
with
the
the
state of-
jewel,
even
they
stricter
go
in
to the
Chicago.
marijuana, and then they go to the heroin. Now, do you want your kids, your 11-year-old child, doing heroin?
I'd rather not have them do heroin.
Point proven.
But where's the research that they are starting jewel pods immediately at the age of 11, where they don't?
I
know
saw
what
an
that is?
11-year-old boy hitting the jewel the other day, and I'm telling you that.
My brother's a freshman in high school, and he has a jewel, and he got it from one of his classmates from like an older brother or older sister.
Right, you should probably tell
Well,
your mom. That would be the
Tell,
right thing to
tell
do.
your mother.
Yeah,
I
but my
say-
point is that it's so easy for them to get their
Right.
hands on it nowadays.
But just
Sean,
like
your
alcohol,
response?
there's nothing you
I'm
can
going
do
to tell
about it.
your mother what
I'm
you're
gonna-
doing here
Go
today.
ahead and tell my mother.
Okay, how about we don't talk about mothers? We don't need another one of those jokes. But Chong, would you like to respond?
I mean, it is easier to get like your hands on jewel pads. I know my dad's a glorified security officer or a hall monitor at his high school, and he confiscates vapes and jewels from 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds on a daily basis. It's easy for them to get their hands on it, yes. I think stores now need to be a lot more diligent in how they sell their vapes, such as IDing. And a lot more stores, especially in the Whitewater area, the police commissioner has actually ordered sting operations within the vape stores in our town to prevent that from happening.
That's not going to stop the black market sales of jewel pods. 11-year-old boys aren't going into Lambo Tobacco to get a pack of jewels. They're going to their friends, older brothers, girlfriend to buy them and then transfer them into their hands with a black market sales tactic.
Right, and you realize that providing that for an underage
So
is
how
it's a
is-
ticket.
Would you
yeah, but it
let
happens
Cheech
all the
speak?
time with
How
alcohol
are they
too.
going to find that?
It's against the
Let
law.
Cheech
Person-
speak.
And when you get caught with the jewel, come on, let's be honest. If you're a kid and you get caught with the jewel in school, you're probably going to be like, at 11, you're probably like, yeah, I got it from Tom. And then Tom's going to get in some trouble because that's just the way it works. Just like, you know,
It's like selling. It's like a minor getting alcohol from a person of age. That person, if that person narcs on them, the person who bought them the alcohol, such like in the same situation of a jewel pod or a vape, that person's gonna get into some serious trouble with the law, and they're gonna get a gnarly ticket off of that.
I don't know
Ned, your
about
response?
you.
Ned would like to respond, I'm sure.
You repeat that one more time.
People essentially, if you look at it, like Black marketing vapes or jewels is kind of in the same situation as alcohol too. The minor that is in possession for it, and say it's an 11-year-old, and they drop Johnny's name, and Johnny's 18 years old. And Johnny's going to get hit with the law pretty quickly on that too. It's like selling alcohol to a minor. If the minor drops the name of the person who gave him the alcohol or bought the alcohol for them, it's going to go back and trace its way back and say Johnny bought or Timmy bought alcohol for little old Johnny. Timmy's going to get hit with a pretty high ticket, and so that's going to ruin his life, or that's essentially going to get his ID revoked from him, thus preventing him from having that.
Yeah, but this isn't like happening all the time. Like I've never heard of anybody like getting caught or like getting told on like that. So until like stuff like that like really starts getting cracked down on, not like the black market part of that's never gonna get
Snitches get stitches.
I know, actually, the funny story, kind of going off of that too, though. Deerfield, Illinois, they're cracking down on that pretty hard. They're starting to issue a ton of tickets to those people of age who are getting those jewels from those 14-year-olds who are narking on them.
And that is a very serious issue, but unfortunately we have run out of time. This has been an evening of bullshit discussing vaping. Food Tates Walk.